All right, I just want to go over how to graph using Excel and in particular put in the error bars for standard deviation that are individual to the treatment. So this is just an example lab. Let's say we're looking at the pH as our independent variable and how that impacts the biomass of some plants that we grew in different soil pHs. So this is the dry mean biomass. Here's the standard deviations. One thing I do like to do for my mean and my standard deviation, they should have the same number of decimal places for any table that I make. So you can see here, we've got 2 decimal places in all. So you can use these little tabs there to go back and forth decimal places. Okay. All right. So now first I'm going to graph, and this is an XY scatter because I've got, quantitative, and I'm going to look at those on a graph. So I'm going to do insert and a chart, and I'm choosing XY scatter. There's probably other buttons to get to this point here, but that one's pretty straightforward for me. And I don't need that title because it's not quite the right title. Later on, when I pop that into a Word document, I'll put the title underneath. All right, so just double check my data. So I've got, a pH, my independent variable should be on the x-axis, and from 3 to 9, so that looks like it's graphing appropriately. And from my smallest is 0.56, and my highest one is 5.94. So that looks right. So it looks like I've got the right graph going on. And when you click on the graph, usually, depending on the Excel that you have, there might be an add chart element. So you can add the axes title, a primary horizontal axis. That would be my, mean. That's my pH. It could be pH of soil, whatever details that I need that in. And then I'm going to add chart elements and a primary vertical. And that one, right, I've got mean dry biomass. And that would be in maybe the 0 point plus or minus, right? 1 grams. So there's my uncertainty. Oh wait, it would be 0.01 because that's what I have it measured to. Okay, I've got my uncertainties in my units there. Now you want to add a trend line probably. So if you want to add a trend line, you're going to go here, and I'm going to go to more trend line options, which should open this up. I'm going to move my head now. This looks like we're looking at polynomial, and we'll probably want to end up, solving the equation for the peak. If you want to get the equation and the R square value, those are usually little things you can click there. So here we have an equation and R square value. I'll just move it over. So that's the equation that you could solve for to get the maximum. But of course, it looks like with this, the maximum is even higher than where the trend line puts it. This R squared value showing us 0.83. That shows that there's a nice fit between the data points and the line of the predictive line of best fit. So it gives us a pretty good predictive value. So you can say that it's how well the data points are correlated to the line, or you can say how well they fit the line. And a 0.83 is usually a pretty strong fit. All right, now last thing, we're going to put in our standard deviation. So I am going to add chart element again, and I want error bars. Now, I'm not going to choose this standard deviation because it doesn't give me, it'll make all the standard deviation error bars the same size because it's going to, I think, take the total standard deviation of all my treatments there. So I'm going to go to more error bar options, and that opens up here. I don't want my x-axis one, so I'm just going to highlight that and hit delete. Okay. So now all I want are my y error bars. Okay. And now these aren't the right ones yet. So I've put in, once I'm here, then I'm going to go to custom, and I'm going to specify the value. Now we're going to go and erase everything that's in there already. And then we're just going to highlight the standard deviation both times like that. You hit OK. And then that should give you the proper standard deviation sizes. So if you look, we've got a little tiny standard deviation down here. Oh, that looks right. And our largest standard deviation looks like it's the pH of 6, so it's up here. Oh, no, here's one that's 0.7. So here's our largest one. So that looks like that's turned out okay. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, to do those, that you want to go to error bars, choose more error bar options, and then get rid of the X error bars, and then you need to do custom and specify the value.